I wanted to give you a little bit of updates on the real estate market. We had a CPI report that came out last week on Valentine's Day, February 14th. It was highly anticipated for people like myself who are looking at the market and looking at what's going on. It turns out that the market is not cooling off as much as what the Federal Reserve wanted. So it looks like rates aren't going to go out down anytime soon. Now, personally, I can say for myself that when the interest peaked in November and we were at 7%, just for a day or two, I started to be like crickets. It started to get really slow. And that's something that I'm noticing again today. I checked the interest rate at 30-year mortgage is about 6.8%. So this is starting to affect the market depending on your area very differently. And I did want to mention some of the resources that I look at for that. So I have here on my screen some Redfin data. And this is just one of the places where I like to look for numbers. I also have another real estate resource, which is really, really localized. Redfin data has a lot of information about all sorts, like an aggregate. For example, for LA, you cannot depict Long Beach from within this data, right? So the other sources are a lot more specific, but this is just a place to look. And I have some information here, as you can see, where prices were in 2021, 22, and 23. 2023, you can start to see the decline in the pricing slightly. And if I were to pull up the same chart just for Ventura County, it doesn't actually have Ventura County like it lists Oxnard metro area, and the prices have not gone down. And the other instead of going down, they have the prices trending up year over year. So that's why it's important, like depending where you have your real estate, to really look at the data. And then I have some sources that, like I said, because it's not very specialized, it doesn't reflect the same information. So if any of you have real estate in specific areas and want to know like a specific number or trend for your area, let me know so we can get you that information. If I cannot find it in any one of these resources, I could also talk to my title rep, of course. So interest rates are having effect here in Southern California because of affordability. So I feel like when we get to the 7%, it just becomes the purchasing power is really affected for buyers. So they're kind of thinking a second bit and thinking like, should I wait, to maybe where the rates drop? And I saw that in January when the rates dropped quite a bit, like to 5 point something. There was like an influx of applications and people were just running in. And for like a week or two, when I went to go show houses, it was a bunch of lines to look at homes. I was out looking at homes this weekend. It was like I said, crickets. But remember, when you work with me, I have special banks that could work with you to give you a rate discount. There's a buy down rate. There's also special lending depending on your specific situation, so you could buy at a lower rate. I have about 2 banks that I work with that are offering a 30-year mortgage at 4.7 and 4.6 interest rate, which is a lot lower than what's out there in the market. And but it all depends on your situation, right? And did want to also talk about that earthquake that happened in Syria and Turkey. I think it's quite unfortunate. My prayers and go out to those people and family. And I wanted to relate that to us here in Southern California. First of all, because in Southern California there are so many faults. There are so many, and we're earthquake prone. We always have to be prepared for an earthquake here in California. When you purchase a home, always remember that you get a disclosure when you purchase each piece of real estate that states if your specific house is in an earthquake fault. So or if the soil can be expected to liquefy. That's like always usually provided by the seller. And if you don't ask that for you when you submit your offer. You could gladly pull it up. And if you purchased your house a while back, you could look through your paperwork. You should have it in there. If you don't, let me know and I could help you. But that's really important to note for us. First of all, be prepared for earthquake. Um, have some sort of emergency kit. Another thing I wanted to note is that the structure, for the people that had this earthquake in Turkey and Syria, can you believe that the contractors have similar guidelines to those that we have here in California? But unfortunately, those standards were rarely enforced. And would you be surprised to know that even here in Southern California, there are a lot of buildings that are not up to code because they're grandfathered in. They were built a long time ago. But it's important to note that the government wants these buildings to be actually retrofitted. And there's been a goal or a bill that passed that by 2040, they want all these older buildings to be retrofitted up to standard. They've given people leeway, and if you have a single family residence that it's not up to par, is not necessarily required at this point. But this is in our future. Earthquakes, this is something that's part of our life. So if either of you have either a building or if you have a single family home and it's quite old and you want to know if your house is bolted and you need resources for that, let me know. I know structural engineers that can go and look at your home. Oh, here's my daughter. She didn't have school today, so she's going to join us. And basically help you figure out if your house has been retrofitted or if you need to, how you can retrofit your home. At one point, California was giving out money to help homeowners actually retrofit their home. So if just remember, whenever it comes to real estate, I can be a resource for you. I could try to help you to find the resources for what you need specifically. And also, this is always part of your inspection. Some homes are not retrofitted, some homes are. What else can I tell you? It's just like I say, real estate's an investment. So earthquakes are part and a characteristic that comes with the real estate we have. So that's always something to keep in mind. And I know people were thinking, oh, that's just Turkey and Syria. No, well, we have some of the same problems here because we have earthquakes and not all of our buildings are up to code. So just keep that in mind. And if you ever have questions, there's certain maps that show the faults that are between the San Andreas, a fault that go all the way from LA all the way to the southern border into Mexico. So if you have questions about that stuff and you're concerned about your home or anything, just let me know. I could find you someone that can get you a report if you are not able to find that for yourself. Okay, so if you have any real estate questions, I'm here for you. I'll be trying to keep you updated with the market changes and all this and that. And I hope you all had a great President's Day. If you got it off, if you're working, I hope you have an awesome week and a big hug for me. Bye. Take care. Hope you're all doing great.